The cell is the fundamental unit of all living matter. A single cell is a single entity, isolated from other cells by a cell membrane and containing within it a variety of materials and subcellular structures. Inside the cell membrane are the various structures and chemicals which make it possible for the cell to function. Two of the key structures are the nucleus, where the information or DNA is stored, and the cytoplasm, where the machinery for cell growth and function is present. All cells contain certain types of chemical components: proteins, nucleic acids, lipids, and polysaccharides. Because these chemical components are common throughout the living world, it is thought that all cells have descended from a single common ancestor, known as the universal ancestor. Although each kind of cell has a definite structure and size, a cell is a dynamic unit, constantly undergoing change and replacing its parts. Even when it is not growing, a cell is continually taking materials from its environment and working them into its own fabric. At the same time, perpetually discards into its environment cellular materials and waste products. Now I'm going to talk about the hallmarks of a cell. A living cell is a complex system, and I'm going to go through the four major characteristics of cells. First one is self-feeding or nutrition. Cells take up chemicals from the environment, transform these chemicals from one form to another, release energy, and eliminate their waste products. We'll go into this more in a later video. Self-replication or growth. Cells are capable of directing their own synthesis. A cell grows and divides, forming two cells, each nearly identical to the original cell. Differentiation. Most kinds of cells also can undergo changes in form or function. When a cell differentiates, certain substances or structures which were not formed previously are now formed. Or, conversely, substances or structures which had been formed previously are no longer formed. Cell differentiation is often a part of the cellular life cycle, in which cells form spores or other structures involved in sexual reproduction, dispersal, or survival of unfavourable conditions. Fourth is chemical signalling. Another attribute of cells is that they often interact or communicate with each other, generally by means of chemical signals. Multicellular organisms, such as plants and animals, are composed of many different cell types that have arisen as a result of differentiation from single cells. In multicellular organisms, complex interactions between these different cell types lead to the function and behaviour of these cells. Now I'm going to briefly go over the translation system. In the language of the cell, translation is essential if the cell is to function. This is so because the language of the DNA molecule is incapable of being interpreted directly. The translation apparatus is thus the central and most basic attribute of the cell. Because of the central role of the translation system, it is difficult to change it. In fact, the translation system, although differing in certain details, is essentially the same in all kinds of cells. Translation has to start with transcription. Transcription is formation of messenger RNA molecules which contain a copy of information of DNA. I'll go into that deeper in another video. Translation itself is a process occurring in ribosomes, structures composed of RNA and protein on which the translation process occurs. In the translation process, other RNA molecules called transfer RNA act as the critical adapter molecules of the translation process, recognizing both the amino acid and the genetic code. The messenger RNA combines with the ribosomes, forming a complex, and the amino acid carrying transfer RNA molecules move up to the messenger RNA one at a time, and the amino acid being carried is transferred onto the growing protein chain. For each protein, there are three parts of what we call the genetic code. This is the start site, which is the triplet coding unit that indicates where the translation process should begin, the gene, a long series of triplet codes that specify the amino acid sequence, and the stop site, the triplet coding unit that indicates where the translation process should stop. This is just the start of the basis of microbiology and many other areas of biology. I'll be going more in depth in further videos. There will also be videos on human physiology, cell biology, evolutionary biology, and plant biology. Thanks.